Kryten Prime here again, the Gentleman Autobot, coming at you from Kryten TV on Icon. Welcome to my next overview for CGI Transformers. For this episode, more comical things with proto-humans in Go With The Flow. At the beginning of this episode, Cheetor's educating the little proto-human kids officially named Chak and Una in a sort of, in front of a carved chalkboard. He's whilst Ratchat's watching, Cheetor's teaching them like the basics of the lever and the pulley, and also a little technique. If you're fighting an enemy, you can hack the hinges. Ratchat's essentially finding this boring because he prefers explosions. Oh, and meanwhile, in a nearby mountain, the Predacons are building a super weapon, a disruptor ray, which they intend to use to destroy the Maximals in their base. But the energon source is too unstable. It can affect all Cybertronians, so they need an organic to finish installing the shielding plate. And it just so happens that Chak and Una are nearby, so Megatron has an idea there. Okay, so Inferno Waspinator have their mission. They go to apprehend at least one of the two little proto-humans. Cheetor gets injured in the attack, and Waspinator gets away with Una. Of course, Depth Charge comes along. That's my only depth charge figure again. Yeah, which is annoying. I might as well have this around as my ocean-based beast former. For goodness sake. Anyway, depth charge comes, and both him and Ratchat are gonna head along to rescue Una, whilst Cheetor goes back to base to recuperate. But of course, whilst Waspinator's carrying Una remembers Cheetor's teachings in when fighting an enemy, hack at their hinges, and she starts using her little tool at like hacking at Waspinator's hinges and breaking them off with a little chisel thing. Waspinator's reporting him that she's injuring him, but Megatron sees that as normal, of course, because this is Waspinator. Oh, but of course Waspinator's in a bad way after all that. His limbs are broken off. So, there's no way of healing it, but I've got just the thing for that. Cup of soup for the limb that keeps on healing. I'm not sponsored, by the way. Okay, so, the Predacons have Una. They decide to use the disruptor ray at a lower power to shoot down Depth Charge and Ratchat. Only Depth Charge gets hit, and he glides down and crashes. Ratchat's still alive, much to Depth Charge's disappointment. Still funny to me. And Ratchat decides to leave Depth Charge to recuperate and keep him safe. That's our Ratchat. And Megatron's instructing Una, of all proto-humans, one of the youngest, on finishing installing this shielding plate for the disruptor ray. Bit of a problem there, because she's a bit, no offence, but she's a bit of a simpleton when it comes to commands. So she's kind of got one of the plates, one of the panels on top of her head here. Oh, didn't notice that at first, but yeah, biting at it, and mistaking a bone for a wrench. Frankly, that's one of Megatron's funniest moments, if you ask me. That was... Yeah, who says villains can't be funny? Whatever. Anyway, she eventually finishes it. And it looks like she's installed the stabilizer crystal, but we'll see. Okay, Ratchat comes to the rescue, but Diabot holds him back. Una uses the lever technique to flatten Tarantulas with a big power box. They get away, and the float depth. They have depth charge float on his manta ray mode on the top of the river, and the Ratchab's using his tail weapon, and Una's using the stick. I forgot they also used the lever to get him into the. Sorry, and they end up down a waterfall, but they survived that. And whilst Waspinator Una, Waspinator and Inferno are pursuing, Una has the clever idea of levering up some mud, and Rattrap jumps down one end. The mud flies onto Waspinator's face. He's blinded and crashes straight into Inferno, who crashes into Dinobot. Clever little maneuver. I like that's Una's so adorable. She's so clever, and so is Chak as well. Of course, they have the Disruptor Ray at full power now. They're going to destroy the Maximal base. It's all looking bad for the Maximals. Even Depth Charge and Rattrap are kind of in range at first, but Una's fine because she's organic. But it suddenly backfires and explodes, backfiring on the on the Predacons, and the Maximals are completely fine back at home base. And Una reveals that she still has the stabilizer crystal, using it as a hairpin. She's so cute. She's so smart. Anyway, they're of the explosion. They're floating off into the sunset on top of the depth charge. Story of his life. Hope you enjoy this episode when you see it, fellow bots, if you haven't already. Coming next, oh, Black Arachnia, you stubborn girl, in Crossing the Rubicon. Still can't get it in there.